Let's try to discuss what a perfect Claude.md looks like for his Salesforce projects. This will have 8 essential sections for a Salesforce Claude.md. Every single one matters. Let's go one by one. First one is project overview. What this org does, who uses it critically. Second would be tech stack, API version, which cloud packaging approach. Third would be coding standard, bulkification, naming, patterns to use and avoid. Fourth will be schema reference, custom object and fields with types. Fifth would be security model, sharing rules, org by default context. Sixth would be deployment process, the exact commands to deploy and test. Seventh one would be testing standards, coverage targets, patterns to follow. Eighth one would be important constraints, things to never do. Skip any of these, you will get a worse output. Include all, get production ready code in your very first try. Let me walk through the template section by section. The top section is project overview. State what the org does, the critical context. For example, B2B SaaS company, production org with Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, 500 plus user, mission critical. Then tech stack, specify your API version, which clouds you use, which component types are allowed. For example, API 60, LWC only, no Aura, no Visual Force for new work, SFDX project structure. Org aliases matter too. Tell Claude your dev org alias, UAT alias, production alias, so it knows which org to deploy to and which to never touch. This grounds every decision Claude makes. Now let's see how it looks like in VS Code. So if I go to VS Code, so within our folder, we have got Claude.md. This is a default one, which was created by Claude itself. So what we will do, we will replace the default one. Let me copy paste. Let me just copy paste. So over here, I have copy pasted it. I have given a project overview, B2B SaaS company production org with Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, used by 500 plus user globally. What is the tech stack? What is the org aliases? Okay. So over here, if you look into the org aliases, DevOrg is for development sandbox, UAT, production. Now let's save it also. Now let's go back to presentation. Now section 3 is where you encode your team configuration standard. This is gold. Under always, list everything Claude must do. bulkify code with sharing keyword unless justified, custom exception classes for business error, apex doc comment, trigger handler pattern. Under naming convention, list your team's pattern, class prefix, trigger naming, test class naming, method. Let me just go back. Under forbidden, list what Claude should never do, like hard-coded IDs, SOQL in loops, DML in loops, the add future annotation, use queuable instead. Be specific. The more you encode here, the less you repeat it in prompts. After this section, you stop writing use bulkified apex forever. Claude just do it for it. So let me now copy this and then put it in our, I'll now paste it below this. So this is our updated. Let me just remove this. So we have added the Apex coding standard also now. Let's save it. Now let's go back to presentation. Section 4 is where you stop hallucination forever. You give schema reference. List your custom fields per object, their type, picklist values, where applicable, lookup relationship, custom objects. For example, on account, region underscore underscore C is a pick list with values like NA, EMEA, APEC, LATAM. Health score underscore underscore C is a number calculated by Acme account health service. Strategic account underscore underscore C is a checkbox. This level of specificity is the difference between Claude saying use the customer lifecycle value field, which doesn't exist in your org, versus correctly using your actual field. Also include important field behavior like health score is a number, not a formula. It's calculated daily by a batch job. Trigger exists on specific objects. Get this right and you will get dividends forever. Now let's add this also to our Claude.md. So we have added the custom schema also. Since we are going to use our account and if there's any custom objects, we have added the important information about that. Let's save this also. Let's go back to the presentation. Final sections, deployment process and testing standards, plus the critical constraints section. Under deployment, give Claude the exact CLI command. For example, SF project deploy, start with the source directory flag. SF apex run test with code coverage flag. Coverage requirements, state your minimum, your target, and any classes that need higher coverage. Testing standards, add test setup for shared data. Use assert equal, not the depreciated system.assert equals. Test bulk operations, test exceptions, use test data factory pattern. Add critically important constraint sections. Never deploy to production from Claude Code. Never paste real customer data. Never hardcode credential. Always test in DevOps first. These constraints protect you. Please don't skip them. Let's copy them in our Claude.md in the VS Code. So over here, we have added the section 4 also, which is about deployment process, test coverage requirement, testing standard, and important constraint. Let's save this. So whatever we learned with respect to Claude.md, I have created that in VS Code. So now let me go back to the VS Code. So I ran the wrong command. Since I'm on terminal, I have to run the command CLAUDE.md select first 20. So whatever we have written, that is something which Claude.md is showing us now. Now, on the right hand side, we have got our Claude CLI extension. So now over here, we will ask Claude to generate an Apex service class for lead scoring. And this we will give a prompt. In the prompt, will say the class should score lead based on industry, company size, recent activity count. Provide a method to score leads that take IDs and returns map. So if I'll just copy paste on the right hand side and I'll send it to Claude. So just keep an eye on what all activities Claude is doing on the right hand side. Claude is asking for my permission. I'll say yes. Still creating that class. Now, based on our Claude.md instruction, Claude has created this particular class for us. And as a Salesforce developer, we will review this particular class. And then if everything is good, then we can deploy it too.